And welcome back. Today we're gonna fly out one of my least anticipated planes in this upcoming patch. It's going to be the T-2 early. And I will make a video on the JazzDev F40 Sabre next week. I made it for today actually. But it turns out that, well, the patch came yesterday. So I'm going to postpone that a little bit of a week. I want to cover all the new stuff first. But let's look at the T-2 early. This thing is an exact copy of the one that we have in the game currently. It does have a skin as well. You have this one as well as the one that's on the T2 that we already have in the game. And it comes of course with 9Es, 2 of 500 rounds of the Vulcan, and engines that absolutely slurp up any bit of fuel that it has. I'm running 20 minutes in this game and it's actually not the best idea. I recommend 30 most of the time because, well, you are just gonna run out pretty quickly in this thing. The fuel burn is like 3, maybe even more than that. It's around 3. It's pretty bad, so you want to be careful. The Vulcan with only 500 rounds instead of 750 as it once was is also a bit of a bummer. And you might see that I'm running rocket pods, and no, I'm not gonna be ground pounding, even though that's probably the best way you are going to get research points and Silver Lions with this thing. Before we get started today, thank you to all my Patreons and to everyone looking to buy anything like this thing from the Gaijin store. Feel free to use my discount link down below. I'm gonna say it up front, the F40 is definitely a lot more fun to fly, and the footage that I have for you today is very much, well, not cherry picked. You're gonna see all the video, all the games that I did in this plane, so there is no cherry picking here. I just got very lucky with my Matchmaker, and I got obscenely lucky with my enemies. The issue is at 9.7 without flares, well, that's the reason I'm running rocket pods, is that when you run into like Su-25s, mostly the Su-25s, you're gonna have a little bit of an issue. So I'm gonna be using these rocket pods to try to fend off as many missiles as I can, and once I start going low or the enemy doesn't have anything left with very high powered missiles, I can just jettison the rocket pods and I am completely clean, because the rocket pods do hinder your performance quite a bit. Is this the best way to fly it and the best way to earn RP? No. You're probably much better off trying to go for ground units, trying to go for bomb targets, because you do have a decent payload, you are pretty quick. The thing is, I don't have any fun doing that. I don't want to show you guys how to bomb a base. I think that you can figure that one out on your own. If you can see a plane is quick with decent acceleration and it has a lot of bombs, 1 + 1 is 21. It's really not that hard to figure out. So we're gonna fly it like a fighter. Well, it is a fighter, but this is basically just a better Milan. The Milan is a bit quicker, but I much rather fly this thing. The rudder is kind of problematic. That's why I'm gonna miss this shot. I just cannot correct my shots and it's very, very annoying. But then switch on over with the F4C. You shoot in the head on, he actually breaks off, and look at my fuel. We're already on 4.5 minutes and I am burning very, very quickly. So I'm gonna turn around. I'm trying to see if I can maybe start going back to the base. I am kind of considering it right now. I don't want to loiter around too long, and I'm gonna go back to half afterburner. You go to 100%, you scroll wheel up once, and then you use only half your afterburner. Has a little bit less thrust, but you also use a lot less fuel. Here comes the F8E, very, very dangerous. I try to go over him, but he crits our entire fuselage as well as our left and right wing. I roll around him, I'm gonna bleed a lot more speed than him. And he is gonna pull right in front of us, so I'm gonna start getting a crit in. I'm gonna break off because the Harrier is coming in, but the Harrier isn't using his thrust vectoring, and he also pulls right in our guns. What do we do now? We're gonna dive under the F8E, because if I go into an actual upwards fight, he's gonna shoot me down because I'm gonna lose all my speed, and I'm gonna stall in front of him. We go under him, and he is going to crash if he tries to go for the shot. Luckily, he does go for the shot. He tries to flare the ground, but luckily for us, he's gonna end up kissing it. And now I want to turn around, I want to go back to the airfield. The problem is the F4C is coming straight at us and he already passed the Su-7. So if I turn around now, I'm gonna be giving him my 6. So instead of trying to run to the base and give him my 6, I'm gonna attempt to kill him in the head. I'm gonna be full sending it. I'm kind of forced to, otherwise I am going to be dead. I try to dodge the rounds, he doesn't stick it, neither do I. And at this point I'm dead. I probably should have just tried to full commit it, but I was kind of hoping he wasn't going to pull off, even though he did earlier when we were above the lake. I should have known, but at this point it's over. The Jaguar's coming in, F104 coming in from the right as well, or from the left. We are boxed in. Luckily it's only an AIM-9E, so we're gonna fly into another match. Here we are. We actually managed to get somewhat of a decent matchmaker this time. That's of course a lie. We're flying the T2. 9.7 is basically suffer BR. Why? Because you're either gonna face F5Cs, Su-25s every game. So one way or the other, you're gonna face planes that you can't really do much about. And that's why I still recommend to fly the F40 over this. The issue is that the F40 is of course rank 5. And it's basically just as expensive. It's more fun to fly, but you're also going to get a worse grinder. The thing is there really anything to grind in the Japanese tree? Sure, we have the F4E EJ Kai, but probably the best radar in the game right now. Maybe tied with the Mirage 2000. And sure, that radar together with the AIM 7Fs are quite a nasty combination. The thing is, it just doesn't have the performance. You're not quick enough. You don't have enough acceleration, and you don't turn well enough. You're a bit of a flying boat. Sure, you're a flying boat that if you get a good luck on someone with that missile, they are probably going to die. But you need to get in a position to actually use it. Now, for the Japanese, do we really have anything that we can wait for even? Is there really even anything that we can say, maybe in the future they'll add this or this? Maybe the F-15? And what you're hearing is my cat in the background. I just kicked her out, I'm sorry for that. But there's maybe going to be an F-15 or maybe a Mitsubishi F2. But reality, when are they going to add it? And by then maybe there's going to be something else in this game that's going to be better for grinding it. So then you're stuck with this thing. It might be even more obsolete in the future. This thing might go to 9.3, but even down there it's not going to be amazing. It's a good strike fighter, and I guess RRB is just turning into who has the best bomb sleigh to just fly around the map, drop some bombs, and get a base destroyed, just like I did right there with 3 rocket pod hits. But is that any fun? Is that what we came to now? We're just gonna fly bombers in RRB because most of us are tankers, and there's nothing wrong with being a tanker. And I'm trying to get the shot in, but look at that rudder, it just doesn't reply whatsoever. Guy's absolutely energy trapped, so I'm just gonna run trains on him until he is out of energy. But most of the RRB content lately, mostly the content from Gaijin itself, I mean with that, I don't mean YouTube content, it's just all ground attackers. And now we get something like the J34, which should have been added a long time ago. Now they start adding all these things, the LIM 5P, you got the G91Y, you got this thing, the premium. Japanese finally get a decent premium. We get a new Hunter that's actually a little bit better than the Hunter F1. But it's also much worse than the Hunter FJ9, and the FJ9 is already at 9.3, but it doesn't matter. They're flashing out 9.0 till 9.7 BR ranges. But they do so just after they have added the Su-25 and the A-10 Thunderbolt. So you make half these planes obsolete the second you add them, because it doesn't have flares. Now sure, once those planes are gone, you can actually start flying this thing and it becomes a little bit less of an issue. But I'm not going to rant about it too much, because that's not what most of you are here for. I'm going to try to get on the 6 with the J25 as he's going for the Jaguar. Unfortunately, he just kills the Jaguar, but I'm not really a fan of that, so I'm going to slap him right in his tail. And then we run away, because we have an F5C and that J35, well, he's crit, he's damaged. I'm not sure if he's actually going to go RTB, so I don't want to make a hasty decision and start dogfighting an F5. And then deal with the J35 as I'm very slow. It's not gonna work. At high speed you can kind of roll around the J35 and just kind of make it so that he will never hit you. The AIM-9Bs that he has really aren't an issue. And the guns are stealth. Most people don't know how to use them. And on top of that, the J35 isn't amazing at high speed anyway. It's more of a once you get into a dogfight you are going to die type of plane. He pulls into the head-on. I'm gonna shoot some rounds. I miss, shoot a little bit too low. F5C goes head-on with an Su-25, which means that I can now go for the J35, because I see him. He is going for that Su-25, and I'm gonna allow myself on the 6, as he is busy with someone else. One-on-one, J35, you're likely not gonna be surviving it. He just kinda outperforms you in basically every metric that's relevant. So he goes for the Su-25, he allows me on his 6, and now he's going very slow, he doesn't even get a kill for it. And now he's just on the deck, super slow, we take his wingtip off, and we're gonna extend out. I'm not going to be risking a flat spin or anything like that. And what happened right there was bad target priority. He goes for the guy that was already basically dead, not really a big threat. And why? He was greedy and he tried to get an easy kill instead of trying to win the match. If he tried to go for me there, Su-25 likely wouldn't have done anything. He was crit, he was damaged, and he wasn't doing very well. Instead, he goes for the Su-25. He doesn't get the kill because he's already so badly damaged. And then I get to kill him because I'm on the 6 of a plane that loses a lot of speed very quickly if it's already slow. So he just allows himself to get someone on the 6, and you don't want to do that. If he had gone for me, I would have died. He would have made very short work of the Su-25 if he was even fly worthy at all. And then very likely he would have won the game, potentially with an extra kill on top of it. So you get much more RP trying to win with less kill than losing with more kills. And in this case, losing with less kills. A little bit of a double whammy. And now we run into the F5 that went RTB. He's above us. He was above the runway. He has a lot more energy here. We can outrun him. But in the positions that we are right now, I want to be somewhat careful. And at this point, I think to myself, I'm just going to try dogfighting him. Why? Because it's a lot more fun in terms of footage. And if I play passively versus this guy, you know what's going to happen. I might be slightly quicker than him. And when I say slightly, I mean very slightly. His acceleration and his energy retention, especially at high speeds, is just much better. And it's something I don't really want to deal with. So I'd rather just get on his 6 instantly. I'm bleed some speed going vertical. I'm gonna allow myself to park directly on his 6. And then he runs away. Bad call on his part, because now I can reel him in. I'm gonna dive on him. I'm gonna cut him off. I have a feeling he wants to go back to the airfield because he is a pretty low level. And he has been doing absolutely nothing the entire match. I see him go to the right a little bit. And I'm not gonna point directly at him. I'm gonna point ahead of him. Cut off his flight path, decrease the time that I need to fly, and make it so that he won't make it back to the runway. I'm gonna shoot the second missile here. I'm just waiting a little bit. He's probably gonna flare it. He's probably going to dodge. But if anything, he's gonna lose some speed doing it. He's already... I'm kind of catching him. I'm a lot quicker than him right now. He's going Mach and I'm going 0.07. 1.07. I will reel him in. I just shoot a missile to make sure that he just gets a little bit closer, so it's harder for him to go back to the runway. And we're getting that within that kilometer. I still have full ammo, so I'm gonna be using it. The issue is, again, I don't have a rudder. And this guy... This is just pure cluelessness. You are in a plane that's much better than mine. All you have to do is make so that you reverse me. Or you simply just bleed me off speed. I'm gonna have a very hard time shooting you down. I recommend watching the defensive flying guide that I made if you are actually watching this. Because you're not accomplishing anything here. What you are doing is staying in front of me and giving me unlimited amounts of shots. And eventually, it doesn't matter how much better your plane is, if you're gonna just kind of fly in front of someone, eventually I'm gonna be hitting it. I never understood it. If you're trying to fly away from someone, if you're trying to be faster than someone while he's actually catching you, especially if you are in a more maneuverable vehicle, you're not accomplishing anything. You're just delaying, and of course if there's a friendly of yours around and there's like an A5C in orbit that's about to magic me, I understand it, because it's a lot less risky to dance in front of someone opposed to trying to reverse him. Because if your teammate does clean me up, then guess what? You kept all your energy and you can instantly go back into the fight. But that's not what happened. There was no one left. You were waiting for someone to save you when there was no one there to save you. So at the end of the day, what did you do? You kind of rolled around in my gun sight until eventually I lined it up. Su-25 coming in. Don't even need to shoot rockets there. That's not going to be curving in. But keep in the back of our mind that he only has one R60 left. That's nice, because R60s are a little bit of a detriment in this thing. Gepard starts shooting at us as well as the flak. I thought it wasn't going to catch us, but I decided why not. Might as well shoot away some weight. Just be completely sure, because I wasn't entirely confident if that was actually going to outrun me or not. But that ended up getting pretty close. So it's probably a good thing that I shot some missiles off right there, rockets off right there. So we are going to turn around in a minute here. I'm waiting for the Su-25 to do something. He breaks off and I noticed the other one, and it's Rain MCH. And he is very much committed to dive on that bombing point, so I'm expecting him to just not look around at all. But he's a napalm nade. He drops his napalm, he dodges our guns, and he is going to be gone. I'm not going to contest him, I don't want to go slow right now. These rocket pods gimp my performance enough as it is. We have a MiG-21 all the way over there. That's probably going to be the main threat later on, because his missiles are very hard to dodge. Because, well, it's an MF. Here's another MF, we go head on. You don't hit him, unfortunately. I'm just pre-rocketing to make sure that I do not get R60 amped. We get a crit on him, but it's an Su-25, so I'm not expecting him to actually go down. J25 ahead. I'm just gonna switch on over to him. And look at that turn rate. I'm never gonna pull into that. I'm not even gonna bother. Well, I did bother a little bit, but I'm not gonna try even a second longer because I'm just wasting my speed. But look at that. Same thing as the start of the game. It's not gonna work, man. Doing like a climb, do a 180, do an Immelman, shoot an aim-9B at a plane that's outrunning you completely. It's not gonna happen. Here another plane in front of us. Su-25 actually goes down. And I'm just looking around. I noticed a J-35 ahead of me, but I didn't really register that it was coming at us. And then I look forward and I suddenly see him. So I'm just gonna go full dodge mode. I'm too late to pull into that heddle. And we are gonna extend into the direction of our runway. Why? Not because we are gonna use the runway or the AA, but because we need to get close to the base so we can land later on. Because we are going pretty low on fuel here. It doesn't look like it, but that's about 3 minutes left. Going on with the MiG-21, I'm gonna shoot the Vulcan, draw a little bit of a vertical line, he flies into it, down he goes, roll out of the way of guy number 1, roll out of the way of guy number 2. And we extend away. And there is a MiG-23. J-25 turns around again, shoots another aim-9B at us, we're forced to turn. There's another J-25 directly ahead of us, and I can probably go for him, see if I can kill him. But right now he is very much RTB, he might be out of fuel or something. I'm not going to be wasting my fuel, my energy and my time to kill a guy that is probably already dead. And that's the same thing as with last game. The J-25 that threw the match by going for the easy kill is not always the more lucrative option. Right now I'm doing full afterburner, I'm trying to be as fast as I can and I'm trying to delay a little bit so that the Mirage and the F5 can take off. The F5 in the end is going to sit on the runway the entirety of the match, and the Mirage is actually going to come in to help relatively soon here. But I need to keep these guys somewhat busy, and I need to make it so that I can actually keep these guys slow and occupied. MiG-21 has to do a full 180 again, and we're going to fly away from them for a little bit. This is probably a bad play. I shouldn't have pointed my nose into this direction. I probably should have gone a little bit more to the left here. The thing is, I was more worried about his missile than I was about my positioning, and at the end of the day, well, that almost cost us the match. So we're gonna go horizontal here. Horizontal, I mean like perpendicular to our Mirage on the left. It's a Mirage 3E. He already has 3 kills, so he's probably somewhat sentient. And again, I'm just trying to delay. Half afterburner now, I'm trying to conserve some fuel. They're slowly catching me. It's gonna be a lot quicker in a second. And the Mirage is coming in. J-25 crashes in the background. Good thing we didn't go for him. I might have gotten a kill out of it, but I probably would have thrown the match. J-25 as well as the MiG-21 are now reeling me in, but the Mirage is getting pretty close, and I just want to make sure that I do not get team killed. I'm not sure why he's still climbing. He would have been much better off going straight for us, actually disrupt this fight. R60M coming in. I'm gonna do a thing I can only do once. Snap roll out of the way. And now if I try to extend, I'm going to collect the missile, so I'm going to turn in, I'm going to keep turning. I dodged the missile, it's a little bit too tight. J-25 overshoots, but I'm going to keep looking at the MiG-21. I have a feeling that the J-25 is somewhat low on fuel. I'm trying to switch targets, but I can't. And the J-25 is turning very, very rapidly here. I'm going to try to pull in and notice I'm not going to get it. Roll out of the way. And now we go straight up. And we are going to look for a target. J-25 is almost stalled out here. He's going very slow. Not entirely sure what he's doing. But because of that, we are going to be able to get on the 6 and shoot him down. We get a crit. No, I don't know how badly damaged he is, but he's in a flat spin. We should be completely good. Don't use the afterburner. I'm going to try to glide as far as we can. And now, I mean, I'm going to try to make it back to the base. That's kill number 3. And no fuel. And I can try to dogfight him. I can try to turn around for him. But that runway is still pretty far away. I'm gonna tell you. So at the end of the day, how was it like to fly this thing? Well, I only had to do 3 games for this video, which is pretty huge because, well, this plane sucks absolute monkey balls. Let me tell you, as a fighter, if you fly it as a Milan, as a strike bomber, I guess, it's okay. It's definitely going to be quick enough. But is there anything to grind in a Japanese tech tree right now? I don't think there is. I don't think it's worth to buy this thing unless you are a very big fan of like Japanese aviation. And if you are, all power to you. If you need a new ground pounder for your grounder B lineup, sure, buy it. But I don't think it's very amazing if you look at it from a pure RB perspective. And I think you can get much better premium planes if you need SL and stuff. But of course, it's probably going to be the best and fastest grinder for the Japanese airline. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the most fun. So after rearming, barely making it back to the base, we're going to shoot at 4.5 kilometers with an AIM-9E. Why? Because we can. That's why he actually flares. He's going to go head on with the Mirage. He doesn't die in the head on. But bam, he gets absolutely dicked on. Thank you for playing the game, Vampire. But we are going to go and carry on towards the last enemy of the match. It's going to be the B and MiG-23. And he doesn't have any flares. He doesn't have any missiles. I'm not particularly worried about him. But I think the biggest reason we're not really worried about him is because he's completely oblivious to the fact that he's about to collect a missile. So I'll wait a little bit to line it up a little bit better. He's not paying attention anyway. And poof, down goes the BN. And that's all I have for you today. Probably not a video tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get the J34 done. But really, I'm really not looking forward to that one. Thank you all for watching. Results will be at the end here. And if not till tomorrow, I'll see you in the next one.